give me a few seconds. I'm gonna set up the audio thingy on my laptop and then we can get started, all right? Hold on. And I'm ready. Let's do this. The first podeo of the year. What's up everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel / my podcast. I am the marketing nomad. My name is Prithvi Madhukar. I am the author of 0 to 4 Figures and Self-Loved. I'm also a digital entrepreneur and business owner. A few of the roles that I do take on, I'm a podcaster, YouTuber, Etsy shop owner, and Skillshare teacher as well. All of the links are in the description box below if you would like to check it out. In today's episode 76 of What's on My Mind, we're going to be talking about how to set intentions for the new year. I've actually got this podeo divided into two parts. So the first part, we're going to be talking about the importance of setting intentions. And the second part, we're going to go into a very simple 5-step process for you to set intentions about different areas of your life. All right. So for me, the way that I see this podeo going is if you are someone, you've been reading on social media, on your LinkedIn page, everybody's setting intentions everywhere. And you're kind of wondering, well, I also do want to set intentions for my life, but I have absolutely no idea where to start. Then this podeo is for you. Alternatively, if you've been setting intentions for yourself for the last couple of years or even the last year, and it didn't really work out, then this podeo is also for you, because my simple 5-step process kind of ensures that you are actually setting A, the right intentions, and B, following up with those intentions as well. All right, so if you're in either of these two spots, this podeo is absolutely for you. This is the method that I follow for myself. I set intentions every single year. I have been doing for about 4 years now. Yes, and of course I've tried different methods of setting intentions, but for me, this was the method, after tweaking and trying out different things, so on and so forth. This was the method that aligned best with me, with the way that I am. And, I definitely do struggle a bit with respect to following up with my intentions. And it was so for the first 2 years of me setting intentions. But after, I started understanding myself a little bit better, I realized the problem wasn't with me, but it was actually with the intentions that I was setting. How realistic were they? And it was also coming down to the part where, it's about, it's not just setting intentions, it's also about how you follow through. And so after I set up like a proper system, a proper step-by-step process for this, last 2 years, I've actually been hitting my intentions pretty on point for the last 2 years. And I gotta say, even though 2023 was all over the place for me, I will not kid you, it was just, it was also a pretty tough year for my business as well. But even so, I was able to, manage my intentions. I was able to, go through it month by month. And I'm very happy with how 2023 came out with respect to my intentions. So as I was setting intentions for 2024, I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I should actually create a video on this, because I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of posts about people setting their intentions, people sharing their intentions. And if you're somebody, you just want to see, all right, what is this whole thing? Maybe I should set it for myself. This podeo is for you, all right? Now, if you're new here, okay, first off, hello. If you're wondering what's on my mind, she just said something about what's on my mind. Yeah, well, so What's on My Mind is a series where I share videos on personal transformation, mindset, as well as spirituality. You get one of these every week. All right, so if that sounds like something you're interested in, definitely do hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to like it, okay? Those really help me with my ranking. It helps me help more people. And I don't know, for me, it's just kind of a way for us to share this kind of positive energy with each other. So that's you telling me, yes, Prit, I loved your energy. I loved, what you were talking about. And here's a little bit of love back to you, because, yeah, well, we all need it, right? So, okay, so that's about this entire audio, a little bit of an introduction over there. And for those of you watching when this video releases, first off, no, maybe this is like the second off, right? Happy New Year. Okay, for me, I stepped into this year, like I said, 2023 was really tough for me. And on a personal as well as a business front, like it was just, I've had tougher years, I will admit that, but it was still pretty tough on me. And frankly, towards the end of the year, I had to work a lot on my mindset, whether it was my and also my mental and physical health, as well as my emotional health. Yeah, basically, it was a tough year, and I had to, work on all aspects towards the end of the year. Like, I had to be more intentional about it, which actually factored into my intentions for this year. So for me, setting intentions for 2024, I walked into this year feeling very realistic, one, but at the same time optimistic about, like cautiously optimistic about what this year has in store for me. And that can actually be seen in the intentions that I've set. And, I know people say, oh, well, it's just another day. It's like 31 and then it's 1st of Jan. But I think that what this new year has for all of us, like every new year, is that one opportunity to reset. Yes, you can reset any time of the year, but if you're someone who's really been struggling with a tough year, I think that 1st of Jan can be a good starting point for you to reset your life, for you to feel better about your life, so on and so forth. I really think that 1st of Jan brings hope. It really does. And I think we've talked about this in another podeo as well. I think hope is very, very important. All right. So for me, that's how I see 1st of Jan. At some point in my life, I was going through a lot at that point, and I was like, it's just another day, so on and so forth. But the way that I look at it today, yes, you can create the opportunity for yourself to restart or reset your life any day of the year, but this is right there for you to grab. And most of the times when you are going through a tough period, the thought of resetting your life, it's hard, it's hard to get into the motivation to wake up the next day feeling hope or feeling positive. So I think that the fact that there is a year change, it just provides an opportunity to, even if you don't, want to make that effort, the effort is already done for you with the calendar year shifting into a new one. And so you kind of get that new vibe and so on and so forth. But the point of this podeo is, well, that's a good vibe, right? To get into the new year and to feel that energy of newness, of something that, you just ripped off the calendar year, the last page of the calendar, and then you're stepping into a new one. All of those are amazing, but how do you sustain that? And that's what this entire podcast is about. Now, especially with What's on My Mind episodes, I usually tend to share a little bit more about my life, and, it's more of us having a conversation with each other. So if you've got any thoughts that you want to share with me, definitely do let me know in the comments section below, as in when we're going through this podeo. All right, guys, let's get into the first part that I do have for you, and that is the importance of setting intentions. So I actually, for the first 26 years of my life, I've never really set intentions as such. I mean, my dad is someone who makes resolutions every single year, and so during the last week of every year, he usually comes about and he's like, okay, what's your resolution for the next year? And we would, as kids, we would just say whatever we wanted to, and oh, more presents this year. I don't know what it was, but it was never about studies. It was always about having more fun or so on and so forth. But for me, I never understood the importance of, having resolutions, or as an extension of that, the reason why I don't call what I do today as resolutions is because I think resolutions are a little bit more up in the air, and it's harder to follow up with things that are a bit unrealistic, especially when you don't attack resolutions in the right way. So I prefer to call them intentions. So that's where I know that a lot of people also call them intentions, but the way that I see it is, it's just resolutions that are a little bit more refined, a little bit more grounded, a little bit more with respect to how you want to lead your life. It helps with alignment. So resolutions that tick all of these are intentions. This is how I would define it, okay? Now the importance of setting intentions, I think we talked a little bit about it while I was defining intentions for you. One, it helps you lead a life that is aligned to what you want, what you truly, really want. And for me, it's more about, 1 year is a long, long time, but 1 year is also a very, very short time. It just flies by, right? So for me, the way that I see it is setting intentions is you on that balancing act where you're taking advantage of the entire year, the time period of 12 whole months. And at the same time, you are also not neglecting the fact that time can pass you by very, very fast, and you're actually taking advantage of the time that's given to you to create a life that is aligned with who you are, or continue living a life that is aligned with who you are. Because for me, it's not about setting intentions and then forgetting it the next year. No, I think it's a very, very continuous effort, and it is intentional. Well, you've got intention in the word of intentional. So, you've got to relate it there somehow, right? So that's the way that I see it. So first off, setting intentions, because you are so intentional about it, it helps you align to the life that you really want. It doesn't matter how the previous year has gone. There's always a chance to change. There's always a chance for alignment. Okay, so that is the first reason that I do have for you. The second is because you are setting intentions, because you are being intentional about the life that you want to lead for that particular year. It gives you a sense of control and direction. And most of the times, especially when you're going through a tough phase, one of the feelings that we have to deal with is loss of control, loss of that sense of control, loss of that sense of direction, because there are so many external factors that are, moving us, pushing us to this side, to that side, so on and so forth. So for me, setting intentions is one way where I can put my foot on the ground firmly, even though there's a lot of wind that is blowing around me. It gives me that, okay, you know what, even though there are multiple things that are outside my control that are affecting me on a mental level, emotional level, physical level, I can stand my ground. I've got something to hold on to that still gives me a sense of control and direction in my life. So for me, I value that feeling a lot, especially during tough phases. I really think that setting intentions can help you feel more steady, even though there are other things that are trying to make you, kind of destabilize you. Okay? So that is number 2 for you. Number 3 is it's all about how you want to live purposefully. I think that is what life is all about. I think life is about understanding who you are, what it is that you want, and taking little steps, absolutely baby steps, towards whatever it is that you want while staying true to yourself. And that is exactly what intentions help you with, okay? So for me, the way that I see it is all of these are very, very important with setting intentions. Yes, there was actually a point in my life when I was like, yeah, you know what, resolutions, intentions, no one really does them. There's no point in doing all of that. But what I've come to realize is time flies, but there's also a lot of time. And if I skip it, then I'm missing out on that one opportunity I have to work towards the life that feels good to me. Because we've talked about this in another podeo. An aligned life is a life that feels good. And who doesn't want to feel good, right? So for me, the way that I see it is when you set intentions, you're giving yourself a better chance at living a life that feels good to you. All right? So that is the importance of setting intentions. So before we get into the 5 steps that I do have for you, I do want to credit Tony Robbins' Wheel of Life. So I'm going to use that as a starting point. So Tony Robbins' Wheel of Life, he has 6 areas of one's personal life, or one's life actually, it's not just personal, of one's life where he feels, it has to be given equal importance, and that's how you live a balanced life. Now, I'm going to tell you the 6 that he does have, but I personally have 8. Okay, so I added 2 more for my benefit, and it's just a more better aligned version for me, for my life, and for what I believe to be important. So Tony Robbins' Wheel of Life has 6 areas. Mine, I've added 2 more, so it has 8. So let me tell you Tony Robbins' Wheel of Life. I'm going to share it with you. The first one that he talks about is your physical health. The second area is relationships. The third area, finances. Fourth area, career, or if you're a solopreneur, business owner, then it would be your business. Fifth area, personal development. Sixth area, fun. All right, so these are the 6 areas of Tony Robbins' Wheel of Life. Now I'm going to share 2 more that I personally add to this because I follow 8 areas of life. Okay, so my 7th one is spirituality, because spirituality is very, very important to me. For you, it could be faith. It could be also spirituality as well. You know, whatever it is that you believe in, you know, maybe there is some intentional effort that you want to work towards that. It could be anything. For me, it's spirituality, all right? So that is number 7 for me that I added to the mix. And then 8th is physical environment. So the reason why this is so important is when you are going through mental health struggles, all right? The physical environment that you are in matters a lot. And for me, one thing that I've understood with respect to my physical environment is it contributes to my mental and emotional well-being. So I add it into the mix. So physical environment, you know, whether it is making sure that everything's organized, everything's clean around me, I'm actually making an effort to clean up, because I know it's cliched to say it, but I really think it's true, because it's actually happened in my life. If your surroundings are a mess, most likely what's in your mind and heart and soul will also be a mess. So for me, I'm also very intentional about that, because it was a struggle for me for a few years when I was living by myself, like keeping my physical environment proper or safe. That could also be another thing that you could look into. If you know, there are different ways that you can define how you want your environment to be, all right? So for me, I just think that those 2 are additions that I personally add that are very, very important to me. You can feel free to stick to the 6 areas. You can also choose to add in the 2 that I've put in as well, all right? So those are 8 areas that I do have. So we're gonna keep that aside, and then we're gonna go into the 5 steps that I do have for you, and you are going to work through each area. So it's gonna take you a little bit of time. You're gonna work through each of these areas, and you are going to do the 5 steps for each of these areas. So you're gonna repeat it, like if you're doing 8 areas of life with 5 steps, it's gonna be like 40 steps. Yeah, that's a lot, but it's good, okay? I promise you it's worth it, okay? And it won't even feel like a lot. Trust me, the steps are very, very simple, but it's just gonna take you a little bit of time. But I think you do need to dedicate that kind of time when it comes to living an aligned life. The more time you can dedicate, the more time you can give yourself to figure out who you are, what it is that you want, I think the better chances you have at living a life that is aligned to you. And the way that I see it, and I've even written as a post-it on my wall, hold on, let me actually read it. Yeah, it's on a pink post-it note on my wall. It says, if you can't dedicate time for yourself, then whose life are you living? And I put it on my board because there have been times when I've been like, you know, really, is it really necessary to put so much time into all this? Yeah, it is. It really is, because this is your life that you're living. You've got to give yourself that time as well. All right, so that was a little bit of an introduction. So 8 areas that I personally have. You can go with 6, you can go with 8. I think there's also 12 out there on the internet. If you want to check that out, if you want to detail even more, feel free to absolutely go on it. I personally have 8, and the 2 were added by me. Okay, so each of these 5 steps you're going to go through for each of those 8 areas, or 6. For convenience sake, I'm just going to go with mine 8. Okay, all right, so steps. Let's get into it. The first step that I do have for you is to reflect on the past year with respect to that area of your life. So for example, you want to get into relationships. That's one area of life that you want to set intentions for. So the first step is to reflect on the past year. What exactly happened with respect to your relationships? You know, how did you feel about them? What were some of the high points in those? What were some of the low points? What did you feel was a personal accomplishment for you? What is something that you approached differently with respect to this particular area of your life, you know? And what was it that was lacking? What do you want to work on? How did you feel about the year that has passed with respect to this area of your life? These are all very, very important questions, and it helps to take time to reflect. One pro tip that I would give you is write down incidents that relate to whatever it is that you're saying. Like for example, you said, okay, well, my interpersonal relationships last year were not so fulfilling. actually write out incidents that made you feel it was not fulfilling, or that things were not going to what you wanted for yourself or for that area of your life. So write down incidents that go along with it. It helps you understand yourself better. It helps you analyze those situations with a more objective point of view when you write it out down, or you can even like say it out loud. I personally think, given how complex the mind is, it helps to put things down on paper, right? So that is number 1 for you. Reflect on the past year. Number 2, identify what's important. So I guess I would call this step your priorities. What's important for you in this particular area of your life? What do you value? What is your priority in this particular area for the upcoming year? You can also reflect on what the priority was for the past year and how would you like to either continue that or change that. Now I'll give you another example. So for example, with respect to fun, okay, the area of life that relates to fun. For me, for the first 3 years of my entrepreneurial journey, I was cooped up in my house. Like, it's very, very true. You can ask every single friend of mine. You can ask my parents as well. I was just in my house. And of course, 1.5 years was the pandemic, but even otherwise, I just never felt the need to go out. And frankly, I was dealing with my own mental health struggles, my own emotional health struggles. So, just going out, making friends, going to parties, or just even stepping out of the house was a big challenge for me. So one thing that I was very intentional about walking into 2023 last year was I wanted to be a little bit more open and putting myself out there in terms of trying new experiences that I had never done before. And so and we're gonna get into it in just a little bit, but I set an intention for fun, and so for me, all of my areas, my 8 areas of life, they're on my board, on my right side, and they're in different post-its. And so for fun, for 2023, which continues into this year, was energy. I wanted to put energy into having fun, into actually being intentional about it, because it was very sad, actually. I'd kind of become a recluse, very honestly, with respect to everything that had happened in my personal life. And so it was time for me to get out there. It was. And so 2023 was all about putting in energy to have fun and, going out, whether it is at least going out once a week, being in a different environment, finding myself hanging out with people, making new friends, so on and so forth. So for me, that became a priority for 2023, and it continues into this year, because even though I did a great job in 2023, I'm not still completely there. So I want to continue with that intention for 2024. So, for you, it can be anything, but understand what exactly is your priority for that particular area of life, and more importantly, why is it a priority? Why is it important for you? What is your motivation behind it? And that's very important for you to dig into, because, for example, in the topic that we were just talking about for fun, the reason that I was so particular that I really needed to put in energy for that area of my life is because it was, as much as my mental and my emotional health struggles were making me a recluse, being a recluse also was affecting my mental and emotional health struggles back again. So it was kind of like chicken and egg situation, and I needed to break out of that cycle, and that was important for me. That is why this became a priority. So understanding what is the reason behind you setting that priority for yourself, or that, whatever thoughts that you're having about that area, it's important to understand what is your motivation, because sometime during the year you're either going to stumble, it's not going to work out, you're going to mess a little bit. It happens. It absolutely happens, okay? So in moments like that, when you're feeling low about not sticking to your intentions, it helps to understand the motivation so that you can get yourself back up a little bit easier. All right, hold on. We're at the 25-minute mark. I'm going to just switch off and switch on. It's just a camera thing. I can't help it. All right, give me a sec. Alrighty, I am back. So that was number 2, identifying what exactly is important for you in that particular area, and more importantly, why is it important? What's the motivating factor behind that? Then we come to number 3, where you actually set your intention. So you figured out your priority. In my case, the priority was I had to get out a little bit more. I had to break out of the cycle, right? So now the third step is to set intention. What you're going to do is you are going to set a very, very specific outcome that you want for the entire year, or what direction do you want to go for that. So I'll give you the example that I had, because that actually worked out really well for me. So in the fun thing, where I wanted to put more energy into fun, my general direction is I wanted to have new experiences. I wanted to start getting comfortable with being open to new experiences. That was a very complicated sense, but it is true. Like, every word of it rings true, because I was so into my shell that even the thought of opening up or coming out of it was such a big deal for me. And you can ask every single person who has known me since birth all the way till my engineering or even my MBA days. I have always been an extrovert, and for me to, kind of get into this side of the spectrum, yeah, it was a little bit scary. So I kind of wanted to not go back to my original personality, but I think I just wanted to not waste the time that I've been given, and say yes to experiences. So that was the general direction that I wanted to take that particular area of my life. So for me, the way that I see with intention, it's not just a goal. It is a goal that has meaning, that has purpose, and it also needs to have intentional effort. All right, I'm going to repeat that again, because that is very, very important when you are setting intentions. It is not just a goal. It is a goal that has meaning, that has purpose, and it also needs to have intentional effort. So for me, the intention that I set was energy. I'm going to put in energy into that area of my life. I'm going to say yes to new experiences. That was the intention that I put for fun. And I'll give you another one as well. So for me, with respect to my personal development, all right, I'm going to look at my board. So on my board, personal development or / growth, that is the word that I used for myself. So on my board, growth had peace for 2023. I wanted to take action that just brought me peace. Anything that did not bring me peace, I wanted to get out immediately. I wanted to step away from misalignment as fast as possible at the first sign of misalignment. And I have another potty about this. If you're wondering, okay, what is the first sign of misalignment? How do I get there? A whole different potty. I'm not going to get into that. But for me, the intention that I had for 2023 with respect to my personal development / growth was I just wanted peace. Taking action that brought me peace, having thoughts and beliefs that brought me peace, having a value system that brought me peace, being around people who brought me peace, listening to content, absorbing information, being in situations that brought me peace, and finally walking away from any and absolutely everything that did not bring me that peace. And I gotta tell you, it was amazing. It was amazing just setting that intention. And as a side note, what I do want to say is the way I do it, okay, so that I stick better to it, like a little bit of a pro tip on my end, is I just put a word for the entire year. That is my intention. Just one word, all right? So for example, for fun, and I'm looking at my board, my word, my intention for that year was energy. For growth, my word, my intention for the entire year was peace. I'm going to give you another example. For my physical health, it was love. And the reason behind that, and I'm happy to share it with you, is for me, my relationship with my physical health has been really, really messed up, okay, over the years. I'm not someone who's naturally inclined to do things for my health. So this 2023, and as an extension of that 2024, my intention is to make sure that I learn to love what I'm doing for my physical health, whether it is going for a walk, taking often breaks when I am working, doing yoga every single day, or eating food that is good for my health rather than junk food. I'm learning how to love every single thing that I am supposed to be doing for my physical health. So that was the word that I set for my physical health, all right? So there are different ways that you can go about it. You can make a sentence. For me, I just put in a word because it's easier for me, and I put it on my board so that I keep looking at it all throughout the year, and it's just on my mind. It's on top of my mind. I would highly recommend this, but you can feel free to do it in whichever way that aligns with you. For me, this works. Setting a word for that particular area of my life. You can absolutely have a sentence. I would not recommend more than 2 sentences because, well, you can't really remember it. And the point of setting intentions is so that you will remember it for the entire year and keep reminding yourself. So for me, the one word for each area of your life as an intention works so well. All right? So that is number 3 for you, okay? Focus on a specific outcome. You can focus on a specific word for that particular area of your life. Okay, now step number 4 is where you actually take action. You break it down into action items for each month, you know, whether it's like weekly, monthly, quarterly deliverables. Wow, I don't know why I struggled with that word. But, you know, set intentions. Like, for example, in relationships, maybe you want to be more present, or you want to give more time. Maybe time is your word for relationships for that particular year, or it's your intention for that particular year. So maybe your action, 4th step, will be every single month set up maybe one date every 2 weeks with your partner or your spouse, or set up like a fun girls' night out every 2 weeks with your friends. Or if your friend is long distance, like your best friends are long distance, like how it is for me, then, you know, maybe setting up like a FaceTime call every 2 weeks, making sure that, you know, you check in with them every couple of days. You know, those are little intentions. I wouldn't say intentions, sorry, that would be the word, but this would be set action items, like how many things you want to do with respect to that particular area for that particular month. Now, with respect to the fun and my example of fun, because I said energy, right? For me, it was have at least one new experience every month, and I had 12 new experiences last year. Like every month, I just set one new experience. Like, don't go too overboard, just have one, you'll be able to. And I did, you know, that was amazing for me. So set intentions and set intentions, set your action items, and make sure your action items are broken down into deliverables for either the week, the month, or even that particular quarter. Okay, so break it down even more. Don't just have 12 for the entire year. No, set it as one every single month. Yes, it's gonna lead to 12 in a year, but if you just randomly put it as 12, you're not going to follow it, okay? But one a month is more likely that you will actually keep track of it and you can cope up with it, all right? So break it down into smaller bits, into smaller time frames, and go, I mean, just for like convenience sake, you can just do it weekly, quarterly, or even monthly. Kind of messed up with the time frame lengths over there. So yeah, weekly, monthly, and then quarterly, those would help you, just so that you can track it on a calendar. Everything's there. You don't have to, you know, physically calculate it and stuff like that. So that is one. And other than that, one thing I've written over here in my notes is make sure that you've set up tracking for that. I absolutely have it in my bullet journal. It's like set intentions and then review the previous month, all right? So make sure that you're reviewing what you did each month, and then setting intentions for the next month as well, or setting action items for the next month. Could be both as well. And for me, the way that I see it, this is something that I do at the last weekend of every month. I make sure I review all 8 areas of my life. And that's actually what I wish to tell you with the tracking. You have to periodically keep checking. And sometimes you're not going to hit those action items. That's okay. Make sure that you are still continuing to set action items for the next month, and perhaps tweak it a little bit to make it more realistic. Like, for example, if you started out with 2 night outs every single month and you kind of figure out that with your hectic schedule you can't really hit 2 but you can hit 1, yeah, it's okay. Tweak it for the next month. Say, okay, well, new action item, 1 every single month, and then try sticking to that. So set up a tracking system. For me, it's the last weekend of every month. That's what I just get into it. I work on it, every single area. I introspect, I look into it, I try to understand where I'm at. That is the most important thing, because you can set intentions all you want. You can set action items all you want. But if you are not setting up a tracking system for it, if you're not taking time out every single month to look at it, to keep just understanding where you are at with respect to how much you've worked towards it, yeah, I don't think that it's going to be beneficial for you, okay? So make sure that you do set up time for tracking. And for me, the way that I see it, yeah, if you just set up saying, oh, I'll just track once every month, yeah, it never happens. Make sure that you set a particular date, like the 30th of every month or the last weekend of every month, so that when it does come up, you'll be like, oh, okay, ding, this is the last weekend of the month. I have a job to do on this day, that is to review and also set action items for the next month with respect to the intentions that I've set for that year, right? So that is the 4th step for you. Then we come to the 5th step: remind, affirm, visualize. So for me, I'll give you different ways that I remind myself. It's in my bullet journal. It's there on the front page of every diary. I usually start a new diary at the beginning of the year, and my diary goes for 6 months. So it works out well for me that way. But on the front page, I've got each of the 8 areas that I follow and the intention word that I do have for that. I also have it on my board, as we just talked about. It's actually not my board, it's just a wall. I put the post-it, I just write the area of life, and then I write the word below it. So even as I'm working through the day or I'm just around, it's right there for me to see. And intentions, it's not just about action items, it's also being cognizant of your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings about that area of your life. So that's why I like to put it on the wall, where I'm frequently seeing it all the time. So even if I'm not like actively thinking about it, it's there at the back of my mind, because I can just, even when I'm passing by, I see it and it's just right there. So find different ways that you can remind yourself, that you can have some affirmations with regard to these 8 areas of your life. And I think what's important is also visualizing. For me, at the start of the year 2023, I did visualize for each of these 8 areas of my life, and I did that for 2024 as well. But I gotta tell you, it may or may not align with what you visualize, and that's okay. For me, some parts it did hit. Some areas of my life, it wasn't really as much as I visualized, but I would still not give up on that visualization, because that's the end point that I wish to reach. Whether it takes me 1 year or 2 years to get there, it's okay. Or even 5 years to get to where I want to be, to that intention word for that particular area of my life. That's okay. That's okay. So keep visualizing, keep giving time for yourself, keep asking yourself, well, what do I want out of this area of my life? Might take me a couple of years to get there, but what is it that I finally want with this? How do I envision my relationships to be? How do I envision my personal development to be? Who is the person that I envision myself? Or think about yourself 5 years from now, and think about how each of these areas would be affecting you, how they would be turning out 5 years from now if you keep continuing on your path of setting intentions. And of course, the final point that I've written over here is you need to give time to revisit. It comes in the 5th step, where I say you've got to remind yourself, you've got to affirm, you've got to visualize, you've also got to revisit. That's very, very important, because setting intentions for the year is not just, okay, I did it, I'm done and dusted, bye. No, it isn't like that, okay? It's an ongoing process, and it is also a very, very personal process. Somebody could hit their intentions within 6 months, some areas of your life, it's gonna flow, like you working through your intentions, it's gonna flow. Other areas, it might not flow as much. It's okay. It's you. At the end of the day, this is who you are. This is how you handle things. So just be a little bit kind to yourself. Be a little bit open to understanding who you are as you are working through your intentions. Be open to the kind of person that you are. If you take longer for one particular aspect, don't berate yourself. Don't judge yourself. Just say, all right, that's just who I am, but it's okay. As long as I am making, an intentional effort towards it, as long as I'm trying my best to lead a life that is purposeful, I think you're doing a great job. You should think that you're doing a great job. I should also think that I'm doing a great job, okay? While we're going out with affirmations, yeah, I think I think it's important to keep telling yourself that you are doing your best. And I tell that to myself all the time as well. And it's definitely helped me a lot with respect to coping with things that are beyond my control, because I know regardless of it, I'm doing my best. Okay, I'm doing my best with what I have, and that is commendable. That is amazing, and that needs to be respected. That needs to be something that we are grateful for ourselves. All right. One other thing is, don't be too hard on yourself. And the last thing that I've written is be open to adjustments. Sometimes you might have set action items that are a little beyond your scope, and that's okay. That's okay. You tend to do that in excitement. We all do. It happens to all of us. Just keep tweaking it. And that's when the revisiting helps, that you said, okay, this month, yeah, I couldn't go out even a single day, or I was not able to dedicate time to my spouse, my partner, my best friends. But you know what? That can always change the next month. So I'm going to set a different action item for the next month, a smaller step to take rather than a bigger leap, so on and so forth. So be open to adjustments. And one thing that I will say is take time to celebrate. Even if it's just every single month that you've hit certain intentions, you've not hit intentions, but you've analyzed why you're not, and you are going to create better action items. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and celebrate. Take time to appreciate how intentional you have been so far. So whether you set intentions for the entire year, you set intentions for that particular month. For me in particular, whatever intentions I set for that year, yeah, it's more or less the intention that I have for the month as well. It's just a word and I stick to it. Some of my intentions for 2023 continue into 2024, but some of them I've actually changed just because of I feel like I've hit my goals or my intentions for that particular year, and I want to focus on a different aspect for that particular area of my life. So you can do it however you want. Okay, mid through the year, you can feel, oh, maybe the intention that you set for the beginning of the year, it's not really aligning with you. You can always change your intentions mid-year or any part of the year as well. All right, so be open to adjustments and celebrate as you are moving through the year. Make note of different things. Like even if I went out once a month, I was so happy and I took some time to enjoy, me putting out myself out there, me having saying yes to new experiences. That was actually very nice for me, and different areas of my life, I made sure that I took the time to celebrate. So take the time to celebrate. That's very, very important. Okay, so that basically wraps up this entire podeo for me. Let's just go over the 8 areas that I personally have. 6 of them are from Toby. Wow, sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm towards the end when I'm wrapping things up is like everything, like I'm like, okay, have I thought about this? Have I spoken about this? Is everything okay? Do you think it's okay? Has it wrapped up well? So there are like a lot of thoughts that are going on, especially during the end of a podeo. And I feel like my words also get jumbled up. Like my mind is going faster than I can speak. All right, but that's me, and I adore that quality of mine. Anyway, let's get back to this. Tony Robbins' Wheel of Life has 6, okay? So that is physical health, relationships, finances, career/business, personal development, fun, and I personally add 2, spirituality, and my physical environment, right? Then we came to the 5 steps that I do have for you. Reflect on the past year, identify your values and priorities, you set your intention. Basically it's not just a goal, it has to be a goal that has meaning, purpose, and intentional effort. It's basically focus on a specific outcome or a direction that you want to hit. For me, I personally set intentions as a single word for that particular area. It just helps me remember it better. You can do it however you want. You can also use mine as a starting point for yours. Then the 4th step is to take action. Break it down into smaller action items for each month. You can even do it weekly, monthly, or quarterly. Also make sure to set up tracking on a particular day for that month, like 30th of every month, or the last day of every month, or the last weekend of every month, so on and so forth. Have a specific time when you dedicate for reviewing and setting action items for the second or the upcoming month, okay? The 5th was to remind, affirm, visualize, and revisit. Don't be too hard on yourself. Be open to adjustments. Celebrate. Okay, thank you so much for listening all the way up until here. If you like this podio, please do give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because that tells you every single time I do upload a new podio. Other than that, if you want to catch my books, my first book is 0 to 4 Figures, Lessons Learned by a Broke CEO. It's got 61 stories and lessons related to self-love, business mindset, growth mindset, positive mindset, what else? Business strategy, marketing, relationships, so on and so forth. Then that is available on Amazon. Then my second book, Self-Loved, is a compilation of 1,000 journal prompts that aims towards healing, growth, and self-discovery. Now that covers different topics like manifestation, inner child healing, trauma healing, shadow work, anxiety, gratitude, reflections, so on and so forth. Again, available on Amazon. Other than that, I actually do have a productivity series called the Simple Series by The Marketing Nomad. At the moment of publishing this podio, there are 18 of them available, and it's different stuff like, 1-page project planner, 5-day work week planner, 7-day week planner, so on and so forth. So if you want solutions to your productivity problems, you can also find those on Amazon. Now, if you want to catch all of my stuff on Amazon, the simplest way to do it is to search my name on Amazon. My full name is Prithvi Madhukar, Prithvi space Madhukar. Once you do that, you'll get like an author page for me, and then all of the information will be there for you. Other than that, if you wanna like chat with me, catch up with me, have like a more personal conversation with me, you can definitely do that on my Instagram page. It's at The Marketing Nomad. All right. Yes, definitely do leave your thoughts, your comments on this video. Those I love listening to you, listening to what intentions you may have set for different areas of your life, or you want to ask me more questions about setting intentions. Please absolutely do so in the comment section below, and I will get to it. All right. Thank you so much for listening all the way up until here. I'll catch you in my next podio. Bye bye.